I'll now call the Newton County Board of Commissioners meeting to order, February the 17th, 2026. I'll ask Commissioner Long if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance after Commissioner Henderson has our invocation, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Would everyone bow their heads? Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you with thanksgiving in our heart. We come just thank you for just giving us another day, one that we had never seen, and once it's gone, we'll never see it again. May you guide us, may you lead us in what it is you would have to do. In Jesus Christ's Nazareth name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I need a motion and a second to add under the consent agenda, item 7D, and that's a letter of support for the Board of Commissioners for Salem Campground to apply for a grant to preserve and restore Salem Campground as a historic preservation site, and no funds are required.
So move.
All in favor? Now I'd like to go to item number 3, the adoption of the agenda with a modification we agreed on. I need a motion and a second to amend our agenda, to approve our agenda.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll have public comments. This is the time that we allow the public to comment their voice and concerns and opinions regarding agenda topics only. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes.
Dennis Taylor, Ellison Road, Lang Road. On agenda topics 11 and 12, the resolutions. If there ever was anything on the agenda that should get the entire full support of this board and the entire 120,000 citizens in Newton County, it should be these two. No matter where you stand on which side of the aisle, quality of life and infrastructure, sufficient infrastructure, sustainable infrastructure should be number one to everyone. You also, everyone should be concerned about air quality, noise pollution prevention, protection of rivers, streams, and wetlands, prevention of water displacement, flooding our residents' yards, prevention of expanding floodplains, putting citizen safeties in harm's way, ensuring development does not outpace safety departments' ability to render necessary services. If you're in a basketball game and opposing team makes a 10-point run on you, you're going to call timeout. You're going to replan. You're going to slow things down. And that's what we need to do with development in this county. And these two are the first good steps in doing that. No one owns Newton County except for us, the citizens of Newton County. We own it. We have the power invested in y'all to make sure everything's built right and the way we want it built, and we develop that way. And to do that, we just got to slow things down. if developers want to come in our county, and they do, by the armloads, they need to come under our conditions and pay their own way. No more tax abatement for businesses coming in Newton County. That's ridiculous. We got what they want. They should be paying us and coming in here with us, and not the other way around. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Maurice Carter. I live at 3117 Floyd Street here in Covington. I'm a co-founder and current president of the nonprofit Sustainable Newton. So I'm here tonight to comment on the agenda item number 11 and to urge the board to enact a data center moratorium as proposed in order to develop more comprehensive zoning ordinances that adequately protect our county, its citizens, and in particular to focus on addressing impacts such as noise and light near the facilities, but also water usage, electricity consumption, and air quality effects from generators, turbines, other things that will be used. So our organization has an environmental hazards committee that has been working closely for some time with state agencies, with other communities that have groups focused on this, and in particular with legal experts from the Southern Environmental Law Center. Bill Couch is here tonight. Bill chairs that committee for us. Some of our other committee members are here as well. And so if you decide to have a moratorium, look at the ordinances, we would be more than happy to provide the resources and information that we've gathered and be, and partner with you in any way that we can to help move that forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Couch, 12500 Alcovey Road, Covington. And I want to echo what Maurice just said. I'm with the Sustainable Newton. We've been working hand in foot with a number of agencies and with people to try to get a handle on data centers. And data centers are a confusing issue at best. We hope you guys will support a moratorium similar to the cities, and work with Sustainable Newton if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Tina McCrae, and I'm a resident at 80 Village Glen Drive in Covington, Georgia. And I like to echo what the gentlemen were speaking about on number 11 and number 12, honestly, of the agenda. While I'm sure having data centers in our community would bring us some substantial income for our communities, however, I'm asking you to also consider the safety with putting forth a moratorium so that we can have time to think about how we're going to, you may have thought about it already, but I think we need to really look deeper into how we're going to manage it, how we're going to assess it, how we're going to protect us as citizens, water and electric. We know what's happening in other cities already, so let's take advantage of what we already know, lessons learned, and by doing that, we should have the moratorium so that we can really assess and have a better Newton County for us, the air quality, water, and electric. On the other hand, number 12, when it deals with convenience stores, I feel like that our community is better than just convenience stores. I mean, we look at surrounding counties and they're getting things like Sprouts and other things where some young people talk about this area being a food desert for healthier options for food and for shopping like that versus every other corner. I mean, where I live, there's a gas station and convenience store on every corner, and we need more than car washes and convenience stores in our community. We're better than that. I moved out here because I believe this community is better than that. And I'm asking you to help us by putting a moratorium on that and let's look at how we can really create a better Newton County and expand what we need, better food options, healthier food options, and more things other than convenience stores. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that's coming up to speak? At this time, we'll close the public comments. Under item number 5, Chairman's Report, I'll ask Chief Turner to come up. We have Fire Services Employee Commendations, and I'll ask Ms. Hamp if she will present those to Chief Turner.
Thank you and good evening. For a second, hold on. First and foremost, thank you this evening, Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, County Manager, Ms. Nodley, and also Attorney Johnson. First, I want to recognize all of the men and women of the Newton County Fire Service and the exceptional job they do every day and the calls of service for the members of Newton County as a whole. But today, we are taking a moment to recognize 3 outstanding members of the Newton County Fire Service for their exceptional service, professionalism, and dedication to our community. As firefighters and public servant, we respond to emergencies every day. However, what truly defines our department is not how they perform on people's worst days, but also how they step up when someone simply just needs help. Recently, we had a member of the community had been discharged from the hospital and returned from home, only to face a difficult situation. He was unable to safely manage on his own the needed assistance to get inside his own home. In that moment, we had 3 members from the Newton County Fire Service responded, not just with urgency, but with compassion, professionalism. They assessed the situation quickly, used their training, skill set effectively, and handled the resident with patience, respect, and care. Their calm demeanor, communication, and teamwork turned what could have been a stressful and overwhelming situation into a positive outcome. Because of their action, this resident received the support he needed, regained a peace of mind, and ended the situation safely and with dignity. This is what public safety looks like. This is what Newton County Fire Service stands for. Your professionalism, attitude reflected the very best of this organization. You did not just solve a problem, you restored confidence, comfort, and trust to someone in need. On the behalf of the Newton County Fire Service and our leadership and the citizens we serve, we want to say thank you. Your actions of excellence, compassion, and commitment to serve beyond the call of duty. Please me in recognizing OIC Jared Pettit, FAO John McCarthy, and firefighter Thomas Ramirez. Come on, we're gonna stand down here. Commissioner's gonna stand.
Thank you. We appreciate your service so much. Now we'll go to item number 6, and that would be a report from the county manager, Mr. Brown.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The County Manager's report will kind of go over an overview of the latest round of Commissioners' visits. Pretty much what we call it is budget in action. This time we had an opportunity to visit several departments, including Animal Services, Parks and Rec, GIS, IS, Human Resources, and the Coroner's Office. During this time that we wanted to get the commissioners a firsthand opportunity to see how the departments work on a day-to-day basis and how they impact the citizens of Newton County and support their every needs. So as we can see right here, that's the Parks and Rec. So we're taking a look at opportunities to see the new Spring Hill facility. And we're also talking with the Parks and Rec director about future plans for that department. GIS is giving the commissioners information about how they benefit the citizens by future planning, looking at opportunities for land acquisition and land processing for codes and other things like that, and to cooperate within development services as well. IS, informational services, just showing the commissioners how their department pretty much protect us from ransomware and other malware that could penetrate, the firewalls and keep us and the citizens of Newton County safe. Human Resources, we're looking at some different opportunities for improvement to help support our staff with health and making our staff as healthy and informed as possible. In our Coroner's Office, we're looking at an EMA. We're looking at some different opportunities here for renovation and upgrades to these 2 facilities to incorporate a possible morgue. That's a future discussion, relocation for that particular project. Weather events. I would like to bring up our E911 and our fire service and any other department that I can't see right now. If y'all can come up or stand up for a brief second. So one of the things that we talked about at the last board meeting is y'all tireless work in helping the citizens of Newton County stay safe during the last 2 ice storms. I had a firsthand experience to go to the emergency, the EOC office and walked and looked at how well y'all communicated with each other, several departments, not only within Newton County, but also the other cities within Newton County, other agencies as well. So I wanted to take this opportunity, if you don't mind, to give y'all a round of applause because of the effortless work that y'all continue to do. Thank you again, and that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I might. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So to restate what the county manager just said, and I spoke about it at our last meeting, I could not have been more impressed during the snow and ice events of our fire, our roads, our E911, our sheriff's department. The roads were clean. I know we have a tendency to think things didn't get as bad as the news maybe said it was, but I know it did because I was out when I shouldn't have been. So, so I saw what our roads looked like. I saw our fire, and I saw our 911 folks at work. So, just again, thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, we do want to thank our employees, all of our employees. You are the most valuable asset we have in this county, and we do appreciate all your hard work. Next, we'll go to item 7. That's the consent agenda. I need a motion and second to approve that. All in favor? Okay, thank you. We'll go to new business, item number 8. Consideration of hosting agreement, internship contract to authorize the Newton County Public Defender's Office to receive funding from Gillis Long Poverty Law Center University for law student intern. There's no funding or match required, and that will be presented by Anthony Carter.
Good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure to come before the full board. It doesn't happen very often. I'm Anthony Carter. I'm your public defender, and I have been for 25 years, something like that. So if you don't hear from me, that's good. I try to keep my head down and just do my job. But we appreciate everything you guys do for us. And we, in the upcoming budget season and beyond, we are going to be speaking some more. So this agenda item is a contract. We have an opportunity to have a legal intern from Loyola School of Law in New Orleans. She has received a grant for that internship of $7,500. That money will be paid by Loyola University. Loyola is only asking that we run it through Newton County. So they will pay the $7,500. If she does what she needs, we will turn in timesheets to Newton County, and they will it'll be completely offset. We wouldn't be taking on any more liability than we would for any other intern. It's just running the money through Newton County. If anybody has any questions.
Commissioner Henderson?
Thank you. It's been about 25, 26, 27 years since we first met when you was appointed to the public defender's office. And you have worked hard to try to help the people who and I believe some of them probably was good, but you worked hard, and I know where your heart is at. And I appreciate you, friend.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Jesse. And I see there are a few of you who have not been to my office yet. It's important for me to get everybody in. Now, Commissioner Cooper has been on many occasions, so but you're still welcome to come by for a visit. But I do see some of you that I need to have come by and see what we do. So I'll be getting in touch with you soon on that. Yes. That's right.
Mr. Carter, how many attorneys do you have in Newton County now?
We have 7 attorneys.
7, so you're fully staffed, you think?
We are. We had a couple of people who had a slight issue with the bar exam, and we kept them on pending being able to hire other people. We were able to bring in another position actually this month, or we're about to bring it in, which will get us up to 6 out of 7 having passed the bar. The other person is taking the bar this month, and so she should be fully barred by the time, within the next couple of months.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I know you handle a lot of cases.
Yeah, as you guys know, I've come before you for 5 or 6 years saying we're not getting applicants, we're not getting qualified attorneys. Randy McGinley, the DA, started feeling the pinch as well, and you guys have worked with us on finding ways of recruiting people and retaining people. And I mean, Newton County has always been very good to its employees, and especially to my office. I just feel like you understand our role. It's not just it's not just the people that we represent. We also one of our biggest jobs is being efficient in clearing out the jails and making sure that the system runs correctly. When we're understaffed, you have people sitting in jail extra days. One inmate costs $50 a day at a minimum. That's $1,500 every 2 weeks. If we can't get to that person, if we can't, put the person into the state system or get them out of our jail. So there are so many things that we do to help, and you guys have always been so supportive of that, and I very much appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Commissioner Cooper?
Mr. Anthony, I spent some years working with you. With the 7 you have, attorney, and what kind of caseload? I know when I was there, you had a huge caseload. So what's an average court day? How many possible cases that you can have?
Each attorney at this point has around 150 cases that they are covering. That includes cases that have been where an arrest has been made and the person has made bond, and so that we're not actively dealing with 150 to 200 cases per person all the time. But we do have court 4 days a week. Each calendar is between 50 and 70 people, and that's anything from murder to DUI. So it is a very busy job. What we've got in place now, as opposed to the last few years, each attorney is assigned to a judge. We have an attorney for each of the Superior Court judges. We also have an attorney for the juvenile court judge here, and I'm able to have a supervising attorney who is able to go from courtroom to courtroom, help out the younger attorneys, and also help with the major cases. What I do are major trials, plus managing this office as well as Walton County. I have the same number of people in Walton County as well. So Jennifer Arndt is the chief assistant here, and she's a really, really good person and a very good lawyer, and she's been invaluable to my office.
Okay. I just want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
what you do.
Okay. So we'll need a motion and, oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Long. Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll be glad to sit around and talk about how good I am some more if you'd like, but I'll see you during budget season hopefully. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do. Item number 9, that will be our January 2026 financial presentation. Brittany White, our finance director.
Good evening. Tonight I will be presenting the January 2026 financials. So January is the 7th month of our fiscal year, so that puts us right around 58% way through the fiscal year. So I'll start with our general fund revenues. To date, we have brought in $81.9 million, and that is right around 75% of our budget to actual. So these two graphs just show the per month breakdown of our revenues. As you can see, January is a very high month because that's when most of our tax revenues come in. And then the bottom graph just shows the actuals to budget for the year. So for our general fund expenditures, to date, we are at $61.1 million, which puts us right around 56% of the way through our actuals to budget. So this graph just shows the per month breakdown and then also the actuals to budget. January was a higher month due to there being 3 payrolls in the month of January. So for our general fund to date, we are currently revenues $20.8 million over our expenditures. As we progress, since we've collected most of our revenues for the year, you'll see that decline for the remainder of the year. So for our 3 enterprise funds, our water fund, they have brought in $8.3 million in revenue to date, and their expenses are $3.5 million. For our solid waste fund, they're $5.5 million in revenues for the year, and they are $3.5 million in expenditures for the year. And for our Gaithers and Factory Shoals fund, revenue to date is $9,319. Their expenses to date are $133,000. We have 3 active SPLOS. So for the first active SPLOS is 2011. We have 1 remaining project there, the historic jail, which is currently underway. For our 2017 SPLOS, we still have a few active projects there. The remaining balance there is $31.9 million. For our 2023 SPLOS, that is our current collecting SPLOS, we have $15.4 million there. To date, our collections are right around $13 million over what the original projection was. And for our impact fee fund, we have $2.2 million remaining there. And that wraps up this presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Brittany, for providing us with this presentation. If I can ask, on the SPLOS projects, the ones that are still that we're working on, is there any way that in the presentation we can kind of highlight those?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're getting a quick glance, and so that way, and of course we get a report as well, but just so that in that presentation, even the citizens will kind of be able to see which ones are still active. If we can just highlight that, I think that would be great.
Absolutely.
Just to be transparent once again.
No problem.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Brittany. So this may be putting you on the spot, but our expenditures and revenues at this date, you said I gathered you're comfortable with where we are with both at the moment. This part of the fiscal year.
Our expenditures are slightly higher than I'd probably like to see this time of year, but our revenues are trending exactly where I would expect them to be.
So relative to last year, what is that? Are we tracking with last year as well, or was those expenditures a little higher than were this time last year?
Probably about 5% higher than they were last year.
The expenditures are?
Yes.
And I don't know if you can put your finger on it, but I mean, we funded some unbudgeted positions a couple months ago. Would that be some of that? Maybe.
I would not
have to be some of it, maybe. But
which positions are you talking about?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the 2.1 that the sheriff department requested for some employees, if I'm not mistaken.
You're talking about the new positions they requested a few meetings ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I think also when I asked, last meeting that about the monies that from the prior budget moved over, it was about 2.4, or maybe somewhere around there. I mean, if they were passed over from another budget, it came over from the audit. You audited, there was money that was somewhat changed over to this budget, the new budget, over 2.4, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going on top of my head and sometimes. So, is that the accurate amount of money that was?
I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but generally with governmental funds, money doesn't transfer year to year because governmental funds are annual funds.
Well, I thought every budget that we have, there'd be money left over, and you have to move it over to the next budget.
It doesn't technically move over into the next budget. It rolls into fund balance.
Fund balance, okay. So it was 2.4. I think.
Are you talking about like what our ending
Yes,
FY25 fund
mm-hmm.
balance was? Let's see. I might have that. It was 2.9.
Okay, 2.9.
Mm-hmm.
So
negative 2.9. Not positive.
How could it be? I mean, how could it be negative? So I'm no accountant. I'm asking you to help me. Mm.
There was a deficit last year because if you recall, I think it was maybe last November, December, where we moved $6.5 million of fund balance into the Public Works SPLOST fund for paving. So we utilized $6.5 million of fund balance last year in the budget, therefore causing a deficit last year.
Okay. So that specifically goes back, they went back to pay for that, help pay on that, the deficit.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
So the monies that probably might have been a positive for us, it went back to pay off the deficit.
If we wouldn't have rolled that fund balance over into Public Works, we would have ended with around $4 million positive.
Okay. So does it take a vote or act by the commission in order to use that money specific for that? Or was it something that we just pre-approved when we approved it against the budget?
The $6.5 million, is that what you're talking about, or the $2 million that rolled into fund balance?
$2 million.
It's just the way that at the end of the year the numbers work out. So at the end of the year, they take your revenues, they take your expenditures, and whatever is either more or less, that is what rolls into fund balance. Because at the end of the day, a budget's a budget. So sometimes your revenues come in higher, and sometimes your expenditures come in lower, or vice versa.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we'll move to item number 10, consideration of budget transfer contingency for new positions.
So the next item will be a budget transfer for contingency for new positions. This is money that was already budgeted in the FY26 budget. So this is put in a line item called contingency for new positions. Once the positions get posted on the website, that's when we come to you to request to move the money over for these positions. We only move the amount of money needed for the positions for the remaining of the fiscal year. So we're not budgeting for the entire year. So with this budget transfer, we are requesting for government buildings and facilities, a maintenance tech, a custodian, a maintenance worker, and administrative specialist. And for the finance department, an accounting specialist 2. For the human resources department, human resources generalist. And for recreation, a park ranger, a custodian, and a maintenance worker. So the total salary and benefits for all these positions totaled to $217,744, and we are requesting to move that money from contingency into the department budgets. Any questions about this?
Commissioner Mason?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Brittany, you're saying the only request right now are for the positions that you just stated, not all of the ones that we have listed here.
Yes. So which ones do you see listed?
So we have finance, fleet maintenance, government buildings, human resources, public defender, public works, senior services, magistrate court, probate court, recreation department, tax commissioner.
Correct. So the ones that are highlighted in blue on that spreadsheet, I believe are the ones that are coming before you tonight.
Okay.
Ones in yellow are the ones you've already approved.
Okay, so
And then
ours is in black and white, so I guess that's okay. That's all right. Right. Oh, okay. So, so the darker colors, I'm assuming, would be the blue. Yes. Will be the ones that are being asked for just for tonight, which equates to the $217,744.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, and then the others, you'll be coming to us maybe at a later date when we need to move funds for those positions.
Correct.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Brittany.
Commissioner Long?
Brittany, what he's talking about is I made a copy. I know I asked for it late this afternoon, so I was afraid that the boys wouldn't have time to look at it. So Mama made a copy for everybody. But anyway, thank you so much. And I think that we've said it over and over again that this is coming from a fund that we have separated. It's budgeted, but we don't pull these monies out until it's time.
Correct.
That way they don't get used for other things
Exactly.
instead of salaries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item number 11. Consideration of a resolution enacting a moratorium on the acceptance of applications, requests, or submissions proposing the development of data centers within Newton County. And this is time sensitive, and it will be presented by Ms. Applewhite. And she is our Director of Development Services.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, members of the board. As Madam Chair rightly said, we are seeking a resolution. There's an emergency resolution for today for the moratorium on acceptance of all applications, requests, and submissions regarding data centers. Currently, our ordinance only addresses data centers in the Stanton Springs area, and we have had an influx of inquiries and applications that came through. So this is requesting a moratorium so we can move the text amendment forward for data centers, and then will eventually be incorporated into the overall UDO update.
You want a motion first? You want a motion first before discussion?
A motion and a second.
I'll make a motion as stated by the planning director.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion. We need a discussion. Commissioner Long.
Thank you for working on this. This is something near and dear to my heart for sure. Like I say, I've been doing this for 12 months now with data centers. And, you know, I want to explain the reason why the county had not had an ordinance and had not done this before prior, because all of the requests for data centers have come through the cities. not to the county, and there's lots of reasons, and I won't bore you with all those details, but there are, so it's really important that we go and work on our ordinance, and we have been working on that with our director here and adding things, and I would love to have you guys take a look at it for us. We've had several classes about this. I know Commissioner Mason and I have taken a couple of these and have really kind of dug in and served on some panels and some upcoming panels on this. But I think it's something that we need to do as a county so we can get our ducks in a row and work on these ordinances, because we are getting inundated with these because we have our UDO in place for residential. So thank you so much for drafting this for us, getting this out. We were going to do it the last meeting, but I think we needed to do some advertising or something like that.
Okay. Commissioner Mason, I think you were next.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Shayna, for working on this. Thank you to our county manager as well. I know he probably was like, Commissioner Mason is calling me one more time about this moratorium. Because I wanted to make sure that we got this done in a timely manner. Because we are being inundated with all of these requests, we want to make sure that we are protecting our community. And so despite what, naysayers may say, this board works very, very hard and very, very diligently and consistently behind the scenes to ensure that everything that we hear our residents say, and even some things that we don't hear you say, that we know. I think sometimes our residents forget that you see a board sitting up here, but we're taxpayers. We are believe in our community. We live here too. We aren't just riding in from another county to make decisions for our county. We're stakeholders, and we live in this community, and we were elected by our residents. And so we value what our residents say to us. And so I just want to make our residents know that we hear you, we love you, and we're going to fight for you. That is our objective. That is our goal. That is why we're sitting in these seats. And I know sometimes it may not seem like, oh, they're doing it fast enough or they're getting it quick enough. But we are working diligently behind the scenes. And this is one of those things that I know I pushed and pushed and pushed. I have sat on panels. Like Commissioner Long said, we've been asked to sit on future panels as well, upcoming panels. We're doing our research through the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, through the National Association of Counties. We're trying to gather as much information as we can. I personally, when I came back from Washington, D.C. last February, had a meeting set up with a commissioner in Virginia. If you know anything about Virginia, they are known as the data center capital of the world, because I wanted to understand, these data centers and how they work and how they could be pros and what the cons are, and what's going to be best for our community. Our Director of Development Services talked about currently we have a data center in Stanton Springs. That's all we knew, and that's all we had, because we weren't getting those requests in the county. They were basically coming in the municipalities or in the cities. And so now that they're coming to the counties, we want to make sure that we're doing it right and that we're protecting our residents by all means necessary. So thank you again, Shayna, for working on this. Thank you to our county manager, our acting county manager, Mr. Brown, for making sure that we got this. And this is a sign. We want our residents to know that we hear you and that we are diligently working on your behalf to make sure that things like this get on our agenda and that we address it as quickly as possible, because we're protecting our residents. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I know I have been sitting at the data center table. Well, I know Commissioner Long, we shared a couple of the same meetings with end user customers as far back as October or November of 2024. So that's when the data center craze was first getting started. And My problem is with data centers is the supply, the infrastructure, the electricity and the water. You know, electricity and water, electricity is not supplied by Georgia Power and Oglethorpe Power just for Newton County. It's supplied for Walton County and South Circle as well. So any data center there or Henry County or Jasper County impacts us because I can tell you, I know for a fact that because I sit on the JDA, when these companies come into an area, their original contract language reads, we get first priority for electricity and water over the citizens of the county or the community. Of course, we turn that down, both at the water level and the utility level. So we tell them no, but that's their first ask. That's their mentality. So we're hoping this puts a pause in place, and I've been begging our state legislators for something at the state level to regulate this, because this is not a county or community by community issue. This is a regional and even a state level issue when it comes to electricity, water, gas, and all those other issues. So I hope this puts a pause in place for Newton County, but I want to caution everybody, we're one lawsuit away from it not mattering in the southeastern part of Newton County. We're one lawsuit away. If Social Circle annexes our southeastern part of the county, we have no control. So that's where we are. So it won't matter how many moratoriums we put in place in that part of the county, it won't matter. So, and the last thing I wanted to ask of legal is the term data centers in this resolution or in this agenda item, will that cover all server, does that include server farms? Does that include everything that we would think of typically in a data center? Is there a technicality that would allow somebody to come in and ask for a data center, even with the moratorium?
Thanks for the question. I don't believe so. I believe just the commonly understood term data center, as that would be reasonably interpreted under zoning law. If it would fall within that category, I believe the moratorium would apply.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Shana, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Mason.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I have one more thing. At our last meeting, I kind of mentioned some bills that the state and Commissioner Edwards kind of triggered my memory. I know I had one of my colleagues, when I talked about these bills, said, well, what are we doing on a local level? How are we addressing this on a local level? When I talked about state bills, I talked about House Bill 1059, which is a data center moratorium from 2026 to 2028. This legislation imposes a moratorium on the construction of data centers from July 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2028. It also establishes the Data Center Impact Assessment Commission to study the impacts of data center development and to develop recommendations for a statewide zoning ordinance or a model local ordinance. So when I read that at our last meeting, and the question was posed by one of my colleagues, well, what are we doing on a state level? Here it is. This is what we're doing on a local level. So we are working with our state to make sure that we are both in alignment with what they're doing on a state level and what we're doing on a local level. And so this is proof today that you see number 11, that what they're doing on a state level is what we're also doing on a local level as well. So don't underestimate what we're doing on a local level. We're doing our best to work with our state to make sure that they are reinforcing what things that we're doing on a local level as well. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that, you know, when we first heard about data centers, and the first person came up with Mr. Dennis Cheek, and the first thing he said is that if they're going to come, make them pay their way. And I think, and it was just, I think, right. It was only the right thing to do. But there was other commissioners in other counties, such as Walton County, who I know had reached out to me and said, well, why can't we all sit down together and talk about it and let us, as a group, figure out what we want, what's best for our citizens, both in Walton and Newton. Well, we never did have that meeting. And I think basically, from my opinion, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I like to be proven wrong. And that is, we never speak out. Instead, we sent a group of attorneys there to go out and fight instead of us getting together, elected officials, whether it was Rawlton County or the city of Covington, and whether it was the town of Pordale. You know, it used to be that as a community in Newton County, we could sit down and we could talk. But we don't have no meetings, no community meetings throughout the county to talk to one another. And how we talk is through attorneys, and it tells us what we think we need to be doing. So I don't think that's good. I can remember the time when I came on this board as a young man, now I'm an old man, that we could talk and we could make things happen. We talked about transparency. We made transparency happen. Because it wasn't videotaping in the meetings. We made it happen. So now are we forgetting about the people that we represent? That you can see them on Facebook and boom, hit up something and they all say, okay, we with you. So, you know, I think that we need to start engaging with our citizens, not the computer. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be quite brief, and because I misspoke my last term. I mentioned a lawsuit. It's not a lawsuit. It's an arbitration case. If we lose an arbitration case, we could have data centers with or without a moratorium. So it's an arbitration case, not a lawsuit yet. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Long.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. You said somebody prove you wrong, so I'm gonna do it. There was lots of discussions with Social Circle. It was never Walton County. It was Social Circle that we were having these with. And those discussions went on, and we had a lot of discussions with those. I'm the district commissioner that was affected by these data centers, and so was Commissioner Edwards. So there was a lot of conversation with that, and with those other members of those communities. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not easy to get everybody in a room because that's a public meeting. You have to advertise and all that. So sometimes the district commissioner that's faced with the situation in their district sometimes takes the lead on that, and that's just how it works. We can't take the lead on every single thing. So there was a lot of engagement with Social Circle. In fact, I was on the phone with Social Circle today. I've spent the last 2 weeks on the phone with Social Circle. So like I said, there's a lot going on with them and a lot that we're trying to work through as being neighbor counties together. And then the city of Coven, there was discussion on that. So we're getting, there's no discussion, there was lots of discussion. So I appreciate everything you're doing, and this is something that we've been working on for a little while, getting a moratorium in place for the county since we didn't have the zoning.
Commissioner Henderson.
We'll be brief. We're having conversation with everybody but us, people in Newton County. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so all in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. We'll go to item number 12. Consideration of a resolution enacting a moratorium on convenience stores on acceptance of applications, requests, or submissions that propose the development of convenience stores. Ms. Applewhite.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we're also seeking a resolution of the Newton County Board of Commissioners to enact this emergency moratorium on the acceptance of applications, requests, or submissions that propose the development of convenience stores or C-stores. And this is with and without pumps. And we're asking for it throughout the unincorporated Newton County. We pulled applications or projects that came through. We have approximately just one for 2023, 2 land disturbance permits for 2024, and then everything else was 2025 and 2026. So we have a total of 16 currently in the hopper. And again, 13 of them alone are just last year and this year. Of those, only 6 are in the overlays. So they're looking at the like the rural crossroads, the major junctions of the highways, where there's small commercial hubs, like around 212 and Highway 81 and so on. So we're finding that they're also happening, throughout the county. And there's been a rapid increase on that. And while our intention is to update this section in the UDO, we feel that we should just do a text amendment to address the concerns now. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our residents, on the influx of C-stores that are coming in. So this is the purpose of pulling this text amendment forward now, and then it will be incorporated into the UDO once that is adopted.
Okay. We need a motion and a second, and then we'll have a discussion. So we have a motion. Okay. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree. There's too many convenience stores. Typically, the convenience stores are part of a beer store, which is alcohol. And our children get a hold to alcohol easily. They get an older one, go in the store and buy them a beer or buy them a wine, and they bring it out and they drink it. So the question I want to ask you, Ms. Applewhite, is since they can go out and buy the wine from the convenience store, what are they going to be monitored, or is it just for the unincorporated Newton County? How does?
Yes, well, our jurisdiction would be for those that are located in the unincorporated county. Currently, they do have to obtain a alcohol, license along their business license to sell the beer and wine. We do have an ordinance that monitors that, and it is also managed by code enforcement.
Yes, ma'am.
So if there are any violations that we are made aware of, we do go out and address those.
Yes, ma'am. The reason why I said that because my constituents who are part city, they came to my house and they raised hell at me about a convenience store right beside the liquor store in town. And so we went to the city of Covington, and it was going to be approved because everybody said, "Oh yeah, it's in the ordinance." But I think when the crowd got there, and they stood up and said, "We don't want it," I think they agreed. We don't have it. And so what I'm saying is this: if it's something in your community that you don't want, and yes, we got the government, you should come to us, and we'll do what we can to help. But it's in your hands. If you don't say nothing, you do nothing, and they do what they want to you. Thank you.
Commissioner Cooper?
Ms. Shana, I want to appreciate you. Thank you for taking this. It's been very dear to me and passion. One of my passions. I know in the district that I represent, and I can count on like 6 gas stations in less than half a mile. That's a lot of gas stations. So I just want to thank you for working on this for.
Commissioner Mason?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Shana. This was another one of those items that I diligently called our county manager to say, can we get this on the agenda? Being on the west side of Newton County in District 2, where the west side is more urban, suburban, and so it's a higher population, we see a major influx of convenience stores. And so this was important to me to make sure that we slow down these type of businesses and make sure that we're not being inundated. Dr. McCrae, who came up, lives in District 2 and spoke so eloquently about we are better than just convenience stores. Do we need them? Yes. Do we want to have them? Yes. But do we want them, 4 on every single corner? No. We just want to make sure that we have them in spaces and places where we need them, but we don't want them to inundate our community where there's no room or place for any other quality types of businesses that we desire and that we want in our community. I've stated this before. I know there are some businesses that we want, such as a Sprouts or things of that nature. And I have worked with economic development. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, I did a community and retail summit where we brought in a retail coach to help guide us and guide me as far as how the retail areas should work in District 2. And one of the things that he explained to me, he said, well, Commissioner Mason, with that, these Sprouts or top companies, they want you to have an average household income of $90,000 or $100,000 on an average. Well, we're at about 75, 80, I believe. Don't quote me on that number, but somewhere around there. We are on our way. And so as we continue to grow and as our community grows from a space of smart growth that we're doing, because we want to be, this board wants to be strategic in how we grow. We don't want to just throw things up. We want to make sure that we are strategic in where we're placing things, where we're putting them, so that our community can say, you know what, this is a great place to live, to work, and to play. And for entertainment, this is a great place. We love it. So we want to make sure that we are doing the right things. And so we have seen a lot of convenience stores come. We know they make a lot of money. And so we just want to make sure that we're protecting our community and ensuring that we don't have 4 convenience stores at every single major thoroughfare. And I'm glad that we are now addressing this in our Unified Development Ordinance as well. We're going to be addressing this as well. So this is another one of those things that we saw that we really needed to address as a board. So thank you, Shayna. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for collectively working together to make sure that this was presented to the board so that our residents will know that we are hearing them and we want to address this concern as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Shayna, this moratorium would include convenience stores, would include properties that are already zoned, flumed and zoned for convenience stores, correct?
That is correct. It will affect any new application that comes in for a C-store, with or without pumps.
And the date was what again?
The
date of the moratorium would be?
Today.
Oh, today. Okay. So what in the UDO, and I'm asking this because I don't know, what in the UDO are we looking to change, and what in the UDO would prevent 4 convenience stores on all 4 corners of an intersection?
I think one of the key things we're looking to include would be distance separation. So for instance, if we were to do a mile or a mile and a half between convenience stores, and then also restrict them from locating across from each other. So at the junction, you only have 2, 1 on each side. So they won't be able to have 4 at a junction because you'll have that distance separation. So that will cut at least at junctions, it will cut them down in half at least.
So that would be written into the UDO as allowable by that zoning.
Yes, if it's a commercial zoning that it's allowed in by right, yes. But right now, there's nothing saying that they can't locate right next to each other. That's the issue we're having now. They're clustered. They tend to cluster at major junctions, or you in a linear pattern, you find them close together, along a road. So we think that by implementing like a distance separation, that should help to alleviate, some of the locations that they'll be able to go into.
So theoretically speaking, we could do this with fast food restaurants as well.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Long.
On the lines of what Commissioner Edwards said, so we could also incorporate not by right because of zoning and do special use permits too, right?
Yes, we could.
Okay, so we'll look at all those the options, right? Okay, and we can look at other counties that are doing a good job at this and see what they have. All right, I just want to make sure because I don't want it to be by right, just because they have the zoning that they get it. See what I'm saying? Okay, thanks.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We'll go to item 13. Consideration of Stantec Consulting Professional Service Agreement Contract. I believe this will be presented by our county manager, James Brown.
Good evening again. This is the contract with Stantec engineering firm to complete the design and decommissioning of the William Street facility.
Okay, since this is the final of two of the required requests, we have a motion. A second? Any discussion? Commissioner Edwards?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, James, I know I asked you this last meeting, and I think I wrote it down somewhere, but so we are repurposing William Street.
We are decommissioning. So we will.
So I had it right the first time.
Yeah, you had it right. So we're going. The goal is to rehabilitate the raw water pump station to divert the water from. Instead of going to City Pond, it would be diverted to Lake Varner. We will then decommission the William Street facility, which is right here on the corner down the street, and look at different options yet to be determined at City Pond. So we're working with the City of Covington to look at different options for that reservoir.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Henderson? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Long?
See, we do love each other.
Yes, we do.
So the question, every Sunday at church, Don Floyd asked me about that water tower over there, and that something needs to be done with that. So what will happen with that tower over there?
It will be decommissioned as well.
What does that mean? Torn down?
Torn down.
Okay,
Yes.
it'll be gone. All right, thank you, because he wants it painted, and I said, I think we're taking it down. So thank you for clarifying that.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Is the William Street facility, is that the same facility that I think PFAS, the son was detected in?
That is correct. So the PFAS was detected several years ago in the City Pond reservoir. Therefore, which feeds into William Street. So the goal originally, before we did that testing several years ago, was to rehabilitate that facility, since it is at that time 74 years old. But once we got that round of testing that we did, we thought it would be more prudent to consolidate our operations to the Cornish Creek facility.
Absolutely.
And utilize that facility and decommission this one.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Now we'll go down to item number 14. That's the public comments. At this time, the public is allowed to comment on open topics. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Kim Cheese. My address is 275 McKenzie Court. I live in Westfield Village. First of all, I want to thank Commissioner Cooper. Thank you for taking my call and answering my email. I thank you for your service. I just want to alert the board the Board of Commissioners in reference to the UDO. I don't know where we at in the review, but here's what's going on in Westfield Village. Pulte Corporation just turned it over to the residents last week, February the 10th, which was our first HOA board member. And the board members were alerted, out of the 541 units, there are 206 renters. That is 38% of the residents in our community that are renting. I know that the HOA is not your purview as far as these new proposed HOA, but I am deeply concerned. How are we going to enforce any type of rules when The makeup is 60% homeowners and 38% renters. So as you go forward reviewing the UDO, I ask that you kind of help us out in District 3 in reference to, I don't know if you can put a cap on renters in the UDO, but we cannot have communities going forward with 38%. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm back again. I'm Dr. Tina McCrae, and I am a resident at 80 Village Glen Drive, a part of the Westfield Village community as well with Ms. Kim. And so our neighborhoods butt up to one another, but I'm District 2. I agree with Ms. Kim about what you're hearing. And what we didn't know, Pulte, I've come before you all about Pulte builders before. Pulte let us know and told us as residents, new residents, that we would not have renters in that area. Then they sold the 100 homes or more and to investors and allowed them to rent it out and turned one of the homes into a rental office in our community. We had no idea what's happening, and so I'm asking you all to take a look at what that builder is doing. It's a lot of things they did in that community, and so now we have our HOA, and we're hoping both of us are going to be on the advisory board to help with that. The second thing I want to address is I love my commissioner, and we go head and toe about bringing in healthier options for us to have for residents, for grocery stores and things like that. And we do talk about the median of income. I challenge that because a lot of I'm in unincorporated Newton County. Those communities are at 500,000, 300,000 homes. You're not going to tell me that's a $90,000 or $78,000 salary when people are affording those type of homes. So I'm asking you all to look at that again and look beyond that radius into a 15-mile radius outside of that to make sure that we're able to get the same quality as our neighboring counties. Again, we're better than what we're seeing in that area. I'm telling you, Highway 162 is a mess. It's a mess. I thank you all for widening the road and working on it, but it is a mess, and it shouldn't be with the quality of people we have in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis Taylor, Ellington Road, Lang Road. First, I want to apologize for my glucose alarm going off when I was speaking up here. I'm having a little trouble keeping it under control. But, and also, I know y'all know about it, but the water leak on Lang Circle, where the new pavement job was done, it's marked off and all, so make sure you're aware of it. I've been watching this government for 45, 47 years. And when we come out here and speak, we're not attacking anybody. I think this board right here in front of us is probably the best board we've ever had. As far as everybody getting along, everybody, no egos. County attorney looks at us when we speak. County manager looks at us when we speak. And that means a lot. But data centers. If you want to know what a data center do to you, go to South Memphis, Tennessee. See the pollution. See the noise. Hear the noise. And you know what a data center do to you. Especially if they're running off big, electricity hurts you and the water hurts you. But if you're running off diesels and you living around them, you're putting up with it 24 hours a day, even if they're under the decimal limit, over time, it's going to affect your hearing. I know I worked in a plant where you had to have earplugs, and we did all that, but it still affected my hearing. And for the life of me, I know it wasn't y'all's deal, the City of Covington and the Newton Industrial Authority. Why in the world would you give in tax abatement to a place like Amazon, billion-dollar corporation? There's no positive to employment. Very few people work there, so you don't have no positive for employment. And then, from my understanding, part of that abatement was to give to them to build their own water reclaim system that will serve only the good of Amazon, will not serve any good to the citizens of Newton County or the citizens of Covington. Maybe somebody can explain it to me where I can understand it, but I absolutely cannot understand why you give billion-dollar corporations abatements to come here. Thank you.
I really didn't know I was going to speak. My name's Wendell McNeil, and I'm here to speak as a property owner in this county. I want to thank y'all for what you do. Probably 50% of my inventory that I own is here. And what I have in Rockdale, I'm selling and actually moving it here. And so I'm real concerned with the data centers, and I'm just glad that everybody is in tune to what's going on, because it does affect investors, you know, where we move our money once we sell something. It's important. The community's important to me. I had a franchise here 26 years, and I have a staff attorney that works for me, and she actually lives in Stan's district, I believe. And so thank you for what you do, and keep an eye on the growth and have smart zoning. Thank you.
Good evening to the board, to the ladies and gentlemen. I come to you today to speak to you about two things. One, I live at 200 Cinnamon Oak Circle. There is a retention pond behind my neighbor's house that collects trash. I deal with snakes, rodents, and all types of bugs. So when trees and things fall, when we purchased that home, they told us it was just green space. Now it's a flood because that water runs down Jack Neely across a green area when you enter into our subdivision, and it's a mess. I've been before this board before, and it's still a mess. So my daughter decided to hire a tree company, come in and clean it all up, get the trees out that have fallen. And you know what we were told? You can't go on government property, you can't cross city property, and you can't bring no company here to get them trees out. So our backyard is a mess. So guess what I do? I take a chainsaw and I go out there and cut as much of it as I can. Now my parents, my dad had a heart attack. He's had colon cancer. And my mom passed out after dealing with all this. And it was all last year, October. So I stand before you today. I sent an email to District 1, Mr. Edward, asking to buy some property on Henderson Mill Road. And the reason I want that land is because I need to build a house so I can keep my parents safe. Because now my daughter has life-change melanoma, which is a blood cancer. So the trash that's in the backyard, the city cleans this up once every blue moon when I stand up here and complain. And I can tell you, we've been there almost 20 years. They've cleaned it up twice. Now, if you think I'm lying, you come on out to 200 Cinnamon Oak Circle and you take a walk in the backyard. Because the trees, and I've called every organization there is, and they said Covington should clean this up. So I'm asking District 1, Mr. Edward, I sent you an email, not once, but twice. How do I go about buying land from the county so I can build a home for my parents that now needs me and my daughter that's gonna need me? And I buried my sister last year in November. She died from the same cancer. Thank you.
Ma'am, could we have your name? We don't need
It's Pearl, last name Robin. Pearl, like diamonds and pearls. Pearl. Last name Robbins, Robbins. And I'm at 200 Cinnamon Oak Circle. That's Covington, Georgia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get it right this time, Miss Hayes. My name is John Clemens. I live at 152 Deep Step Road, Covington, Georgia. First off, I want to say thank you to all of you for the work that you are doing on, obviously, this number 11, the resolution about the data centers. It's all near and dear to our hearts, and I recognize that it's a hot subject, and I appreciate all that you're doing. And I have a couple of questions, and I don't know whether you'll be able to answer them or not, but Ms. Long said something about a while ago that the applications come through the city before they come to you all, and I don't understand that. Which is greater, the city or the county? I mean, it looks like to me the city is here and the county's here. It looks like y'all got more territory. Y'all ought to be the bigger, the ones that answer a little bit quicker. I don't know, but I'd like to understand that process and why it seems that these people go to the city first. Is the city milquetoast? Are they pushovers, or what's the situation there? You know what I'm saying? Also, on another note, how is it that Social Circle seems to be able to come to Newton County and grab property, or try to grab property? I don't understand that either. From what I hear, I don't know this for a fact, but what I hear, Social Circle's kind of in a monetary bind. Whether they are or not, I don't know. But anyway, it makes no sense to me, that process either. Maybe you all can touch on that. And lastly, I'll sit down after I say this. I would appreciate, I just left the Board of Education meeting to get over here to this meeting. It would be real nice if you all could choose different nights so that I could attend this one and not have to hurry to get over to this one. Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I just want to echo some of the, there's a lot of emphasis on number 11 on the agenda. It's on everybody's mind, and we appreciate that there's a moratorium on that, and that's great. It didn't declare how many days this moratorium would be, so we're interested in knowing that answer. And also to the gentleman back here, speaking to the fact that these huge corporations that want to build these data centers, okay, and it won't employ very many people locally. You'll probably have 3 24-hour tours, where people are monitoring because it's all digitized. So there's not going to be a big boon in employment. I don't see that unless I'm just missing something. But that we could take like a corporation like Amazon, he's getting real close to Elon Musk. But if a corporation wants to come in here and build out, okay, and then that has to be decided. But that any cost is borne by the residents, I don't get that. I would make it akin to, I'm going to make some improvements in my house, and I'm going to need a lot more electricity and some water, and I'm going to ask my neighbors to, pay for it. So anyway, I would like to learn and understand more about the effect on the citizens, and the environmental impact is very concerning as well. So thanks for the opportunity. Oh, I didn't give you my name, did I? Or did I? Monica Darrow.
You didn't.
Monica Darrow, 20 Randy Ridge, Oxford. I'm in District 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
Hey, I'm a little bit nervous, but good evening, commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Audrey, and I'm here because Newton County is experiencing the same challenge we're seeing across the region: rapid high-density computing growth without a clear enforceable standard for managing the noise and environmental impacts that come with it. Right now, the counties are being asked to approve massive data center projects while relying on outdated tools that were never designed for 24/7 mechanical noise, heat exhaustion, or the carbon footprint of these facilities. I'm here tonight to offer a ready-to-adopt solution that solves all three. I've developed a patent-pending compliance methodology called CNGZ Ultra. It is an engineered living wall system designed specifically for data centers and other high-impact industrial uses. It provides a minimum 5 decibel reduction at property line, a minimum 4.55 tons of carbon sequestration annually, a fixed non-optional configuration that is fully audible, and zero cost or liability to Newton County. It's not a landscaping, it's a compliance standard, something your planning department can apply the same way they apply fire codes, requirements, or stormwater controls. I have a packet that I can leave with you all to look over.
Okay, we'll get that after the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
If we have no one else that would like to speak, we'll go ahead and close the public comments at this time. We'll move on to the board comments. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll try to be brief. That never works out, but so I want to make a couple of statements. We've talked about data centers and convenience stores and all types of development. And I live in a very, very rural part of Newton County, southeastern part of Newton County, as does Commissioner Long. And we've had discussions as a board, one-on-one discussions at different times. But nobody dislikes this idea more than myself, because if I had my way, we'd never develop another piece of property in the county, period. That's just the way I see it. That's the way I would want it. But I live in a real world, so that's not going to happen. Right? So we have forces that are bearing down on us at this time, and we're going to have to decide as a county what we can accept as development and where. We can develop it. Social Circle may tell us what we're going to have in certain areas, or someone else, or the court may tell us what we're going to have in certain areas. But we have to decide as a community what we're going to accept in the different parts of the community. You know, the District 2 is different than District 4. So, I mean, 1. So, you know, we have to decide what we're going to accept. And the flip side of that is the revenue side, right? If we lose it to someone else, i.e. Social Circle, then that revenue is gone. So, as much as I dislike the subject, we're going to have to decide at some point what we can live with in these undeveloped areas, because they won't be woods and cows and deer and squirrels forever. There's just not. It's particularly the exit Highway 11 and I-20. You're within 3 hours of 2 ports. You have a railroad that runs literally through the middle of that area, and with I-20. So it's an emerging area. So we have to decide, I don't know how we do that, but we have to decide what we're going to be able to live with in those development areas. I absolutely despise housing, right? So I don't want to see more houses, but I don't want to see a data center either. So those are some thoughts to ponder, because especially on that end of the county, the other parts of the county are built out. So we have to look to the other side of the county, particularly on that southeastern part, to look at what we can live with. And Commissioner Long and I are going to probably have to have some sessions with the people of those neighborhoods and say, hey, what can you live with? Because it's going to be decided for us at some point. We can either make the decision, or you can have another commissioner sitting here in years from now and he not be as conservative in terms of what he wants in that area or she wants in that area for, you know, any longer. Those notions could be gone. So just start thinking about that. I think it's important that we don't catch the public and blindside the public with these type conversations. I put this on my social media before, so I don't think this will come to a surprise to anyone. I've even said these things, same things from here. So we have to decide what we can live with, what we want, what's our best fit, what's our best return on investment, because things are changing very, very fast in that corridor right there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to also try to be brief as well. I want to touch on some of the points that some of our residents spoke about. One, HOAs and renters. We know that has become an area of concern. I have personally tried to, when we had new housing developers come in, ask them to their face, would you mind putting some type of covenant in place to limit the amount of renters that you allow when you're building it? Of course, they looked at me and said, Commissioner Mason, no, we're not willing to do that. I think because it's all from a financial perspective for them. So this really hones in on those subdivisions that have homeowners associations. Those HOAs can put in their covenants, if they want to limit the amount of renters, put it in your covenant. Now, from what I've seen historically, most HOAs don't want to do that because it causes a major conflict within your community. And so they try to steer away from that. But that will really be the only way to address renters in homeowner association subdivisions. Secondly, the average household income. I'm willing to go back. There is data. I'm willing to go back, have a follow-up conversation with our economic development department to get that data so that I can share that, yes, we have some high-priced homes, but we also have some starter homes as well that are down in the 100,000. You may see more of those $100,000 homes than you may see $500,000 homes, and so it averages itself out. So I want to make sure that we get that data so that we can see what that average household income actually looks like from a local perspective. Another thing I got an opportunity to do was back on February the 5th, I got an opportunity to go to the state capitol for our CSB Day, that's Community Service Board. So you may or may not know, but I sit on the Viewpoint Health Board, which services Newton, Rockdale, Gwinnett, and now Clayton County. And so we were there. There's funding that we're looking for because we really want to help address mental health and substance abuse in our community as well. That's another area that I've become passionate about. We're also in the process, we've set up our task force. We're in the process of launching the Stepping Up Initiative, which is an initiative to even help mental health within our jails, to make sure that we address that and make sure that those individuals are getting the resources that they need. So we have already set up our task force. We're now getting in the process of setting up some training for those task force members. Once they get that training, we're going to launch and we're going to launch the Stepping Up Initiative to be able to help our community in jails with mental health, substance abuse issues. And so it was a great day at the Capitol to be able to, and I get an opportunity to go down to kind of help advocate as a chair of the Revenue and Finance of the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, to be able to go down and work with ACCG to advocate, to say, hey, this is what Newton County needs. So can you all help us by putting in legislation and help provide funding for us so that we can make this a great place to live. And so that's all I had. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I just want to say that, in District 3, we do have a lot of rental property. It's a big issue that we're having. So I definitely think we need to address that, as well as the, like I say, we started with the gas stations. And I think we, take we're going to have to take some steps at a time in order to get, because I know District 3 is pretty much landlocked, so we don't have a whole lot of land there to do much, but we just want to make sure we do smart, healthy growth in that district. Also, we was working on the, I guess the recycling center. I wanted to actually be closer to, a little bit more closer to District 3, but we are going to open up the Cook Road Recycling Center again. So that's a little bit closer to District 3. And we also still looking for land. We for the youth facility and also the park. Those still in progress there. We're working on it. And Ms. Robinson, I heard you. I want to come by there and take a look and see because it's my first time hearing it. So I would like to take a look and see if anything I could do as well, okay? And I'd like to say, thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I'm not mistaken, Commissioner Cooper, you said Cook Road Recycling Center. There was one recycling center that I personally had built before they changed the district. And the reason why I was sit there because, you know, here a food desert, don't you? Well, there was a recycling desert over in that vicinity, and we built it. And I never could figure out why would they close it down? Why? Beats me, but I'm glad that it's back up for the citizens of Newton County. I'm telling you, we're going through a whole lot of stuff here in Newton County. From PFAS, that we talked about, that I learned, and more people said, well, we don't want to hear anything about it. Well, if you drunk water in Newton County, like I did as I grew up, this is home for me. I'm not talking about somewhere where I moved from South California. I have lived here my whole entire life. Then you got PFAS in your blood. It don't go out. It stays in there. Start being transparent and let people know what's maybe already here. Ethylene oxide. People getting, federal government having trials about people getting money from where it killed their relative. Right here in Newton. And I said something about it, and what they do? They changed my district, cut half my district off, and they told me, said, you're not going to be reelected. And I said, well, it's all right. I'm not going to sit up here and knowing something's going to hit you, and I didn't tell you. So you can say what you want to say about me, but I'm going to tell you. And we got a whole lot of stuff going on. All these old warehouses and stuff we have are full of chemicals. Eventually, those folks who trying to do us harm are going to figure this out and may do something bad here. So we need to have a plan, a comprehensive plan of protecting ourselves. You can't sit up here with like your eyes closed. We got to keep them open. But it's all right. There's something just like what my mom used to call me, John the Baptist. He would tell everybody to repent. The kingdom of God is in. I'm John the Baptist, telling you what might happen to us, and I hope and pray that it doesn't to us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Long.
I just want to kind of piggyback off what Commissioner Edwards said, and I'm not sure if that was a message to me or not, but I kind of took it personal. But I took this position 13 months ago, and when I took this position, I told people that yes, we're going to grow, yes, we're going to get things, but one promise that I made that I'm not going to give up is we get to decide what comes in District 5. We get to decide what comes in Newton County. And I think we've showed that. This board has been for 12 months working diligently to try to make the county better, bring developments here that make sense and things that don't make sense. So I'm not going to give that crusade up. I'm not going to have any IDA, JDA, or developer threaten me and push me into making decisions that I'm not going to make. I'm going to go on my deathbed fighting for this county. And I don't care who wants to sue me, sue the county, sue anybody. We get to decide what we want in this county. There's great projects we can have in this county. I have talked to many people about developing on Highway 11 projects that make sense. We can't even sustain data centers, even if they want to sue us for a data center. We don't have the water, we don't have the resources, and we're not going to give it to them. So to say that we got to compromise with people that want certain things that don't fit here in Newton County, take it somewhere else. I don't care. And you know what? We are going to have some good projects. We can have developments. We can have things like Wire Park, if you've never been there in Watkinsville. We can have shopping centers that make sense. We can have subdivisions that make sense. We can have a 55 and older development. I've tried to talk to people about those things. There's lots of I'm in the real estate business, folks. There's lots of developments out there that we can do to make this county wonderful, and we don't have to have different government agencies or different developers because they're rich push what we don't want in this county. And I'm not going to compromise for that. I'm sorry. And, you know, my thing is we get to decide what we want. And I know the citizens believe that and they want that. And to sit here and, you know, we got to have something, I realize that. I realize there's certain things we have to have. But I tell you what, I work hard every single day. And if you don't know me, I do this. I work hard every day to find a reason that if they're trying to get over on us, I'm going to figure it out before they do. Because this is something that is near and dear to me, and I think it's important. I think we can have, you know, Highway 11 is going to grow. I say that all the time. It's going to grow. But we don't need 5 convenience stores. We don't need a truck stop. We don't need 8 data centers. And, you know, yes, there is a problem with, and I'll explain all that to you, about these annexations. The city's coming in trying to annex. They're trying to annex because we won't give them what they want. That needs to stop at the state level. That needs to stop at DCA. And that's something I'm working on right now too, because it makes me mad that other people can come in here and make decisions for our community. So we need to be the ones making all the decisions for this community. And we need to support the commissioners that have fast foods everywhere and things like that they don't want. We do try to work with other cities. You know, just because somebody wants something and shove it down our throat doesn't mean we have to go out there and meet with them. And I'm not going to. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. And I know people think I'm anti-growth. I am not anti-growth. We have to grow. Highway 11 is going to grow all the way to Walton County at some point. But we don't have to have something that does not help our community and does not bring jobs to us and does not make this community be better than it should be. And that's how I believe. And I'm not going to, you take me down with a flight. I'm not going to flip-flop on the way I feel about it. That's my stance.
Thank you all for coming tonight, and we need a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor? Have a good night.